Hello friends, it's Lindsay Satterfield, productivity trainer and coach. And here we are, the week of Thanksgiving in the US. We're celebrating this time of gratitude, so that's what's on my mind is gratitude. And I thought I would share how gratitude is related to productivity and can actually aid and support your productivity. And so that's what we're up to. I'm going to share how it supports our productivity and a couple techniques for the practice of gratitude. So here we go. So gratitude practice is very popular, and I think sometimes when things become popular, we tend to dismiss them. But we should be looking at why are they so popular? Why has that idea of a gratitude practice hung around for so many years? Maybe there's something to it, and there is something to gratitude. So think about gratitude really as mental training. If we're thinking of it from the perspective of productivity, think of gratitude as mental training. It's you intentionally focusing your attention on something. That is mental training. And it has so many great effects. So let's get into a couple of the effects. So first of all, it will combat the stress response. Gratitude combats the stress response. There's a whole different set of neurochemical hormones that are going on when you're in a state of gratitude versus a state of stress. So when you're in stress, when you're in the fight or flight response, the hormones that are activated are cortisol and adrenaline, and they have a useful purpose for getting out of town quickly, for responding quickly to a threat. But they're really no way to live, right? They're no way to, it's not a lifestyle. Hi, Lynn. Gratitude has the opposite effect of the stress response. It releases dopamine and serotonin. When we're in the stress response, the learning center of the brain starts to shut down because we want to use our resources in a very directed way to address whatever threat is there. So a conscious gratitude practice can help you stay out or counterbalance that stress response and put you in a response that's more conducive to learning. Okay, so, and the other thing I wanted to say about that is the brain is naturally designed, something that's called negativity bias. It's naturally designed to seek out and look for and focus on threats. That's how we've stayed around so all these many eons. However, in the modern rendition of this is we can hyper focus on things we see as other types of threats, not life threats, but just other types of threats. Stresses around finances, relationships, all those things, work. So we tend to fixate and focus on those things, and that increases that cortisol and adrenaline response. That's how we can get into that stress lifestyle, right? Or get into some kind of burnout. Hi, Michelle. So if we look at gratitude, gratitude will actually stir that neurochemistry of dopamine and serotonin that opens up the learning center. That's what we need if we want to be productive. It opens up your capacity to see things. So in a very practical way, the practice of gratitude will counterbalance the stress response. Okay. Also, gratitude has been found to be one of the practices to increase people's happiness, So, interesting thing about happiness, we tend to believe that happiness is a sort of side effect of something. So we will set up the equation like, when I get this job, I will be happy. When I make this much money, I will be happy. When I have this relationship, I will be happy. When I have my family, I will be happy. When when this whole COVID situation is over, I will be happy. When, you get the idea. So we put the equation that happiness is a result of these things happening. What positive psychology has started to uncover or has uncovered is that happiness, the state of happiness, is actually a precursor to successful outcomes in many domains of life, whether relationships, health, work, achievements at work. What else did I want to tell you? Happiness, health, finances, all those things they have found that happiness is actually a precursor that predisposes successful outcomes in all these areas. And when we think about gratitude, gratitude is one of the practices that actually stimulates that state of self-reported happiness. So, gratitude, happiness, and successful outcomes. So again, gratitude can support you in being productive, in having the outcomes you want. And just to remind you, how I look at productivity is the power to have the impact you intend, the power to have the impact you want, agency. Okay, let's see what else. Gratitude also changes how you see and actually allows you to experience the good things in your life. This is a little bit of the idea of if a tree falls in the woods and no one is there to hear it, will they hear it, or whatever that thing is. So it's a little bit like that. You can have very great things in your life, but if you don't actually put your attention on them, you might as well not have them. You don't experience in a certain way the benefit of them. So your ability to pay attention to certain things increases your experience of the valuable things in your life. And that can really amp up your experience of confidence, of your sort of resources, of what you have available to you. Also, gratitude trains you for optimism. So when you are looking for what am I grateful for, that act is actually training you to be optimistic. When you see and can embrace things in your life that you are grateful for. And what is optimism? Optimism is hope for the future, that I can actually have an impact on my future, that there's possibility for me, a very productive state of mind. And gratitude, also, the final one I want to tell you about is gratitude as a practice. So not just on one day of the year I just happen to feel grateful. This is gratitude as a practice, as mental training, that it actually strengthens your ability to attend, to pay attention to certain things, to direct your mind and attention, to direct your focus. And this is critical in order to be productive. If you want to be productive, you have to be able to focus your attention, to look at what's important, and to not get sucked into the 1,000 things vying for your attention, right? So it's great mental training. It's great for the mental game. So, and it's a fun one, right? Like there's a lot of mental training. People are like, what is mindset training? What is mental training? So gratitude, a practice of gratitude, is one form of mental mindset training. So, and it's a muscle. So the more you do it, the better you get at it. And that transfers across all different types of the capacity to focus and zero in and redirect. I guess the idea is redirect your attention. When you get stuck in one train of thought, you have the muscle to be able to actually turn it in a more productive direction. Okay, so I want to just give you a little tip about gratitude practices, because I think sometimes why people let go of them is because like the big three keep coming up. like it gets boring because you keep thinking of the same things each time, right? Because there are some big things, the big gratitudes I like to call them, that we are grateful for, and they'll be on the list every single day, right? It may be your health, it may be your family. If you have a spiritual life, it may be God or grace or something along those lines. It may be shelter. It may be the food you have available to you. So these are the big gratitudes, and they tend to fly onto our list really quickly, right? We know those off the top of our head. That doesn't have as much benefit for mental training as what I call the small gratitudes. The small gratitudes is the practice of looking in a shorter period of time, like let's say the last 24 hours, looking for moments in which that you're grateful for, moments you're grateful for. That's the art of focusing your attention in a more directed way. So here's some things that, like, moments may be too vague. So I'm going to give you some moments to look for in terms of gratitude. So it may be something that someone said or did, something someone said or did, something that you learned in the past 24 hours, something you learned in the past 24 hours, something you did that, come on, I am pretty grateful for that, or maybe didn't do. I did not respond. I'm usually saying I'm grateful when I haven't responded to some post on Facebook that I probably shouldn't be responding to, and I don't. Then I'm grateful for my restraint. So it could be something you did. So something someone said or did, something you learned, something you did or didn't do, something beautiful aesthetically. So when you start zeroing in your environment and start to see little scenarios, little scenes of beauty, that also is a great strengthener of your attention and gives you the experience of gratitude. Something in nature. Nature is a really easy one to experience gratitude around, I think, for a lot of people. And so you want to look for those moments in nature, not just nature in general, but specific moment in nature, something that you saw, a branch of a tree or a bird or whatever, something specific, a moment in the last 24 hours. Another moment, the experience of enjoyment. That cup of coffee. I say every morning. That's one of my big gratitudes, right? The experience of enjoyment. A moment of peace or a moment of humor. A moment of peace or humor. Synchronicity. Synchronicity has the just sort of a natural side effect of gratitude. We feel that kind of enjoyment of synchronicity, and that can be something to be grateful for. Two more. A surprise or the unexpected. Yesterday in the mail, I got a wreath from my mother, and I get one every year, and that surprise, you just feel that little rush of gratitude when the surprise arrives. And also a moment of relief or protection. So when you realize, if you've ever had a close call, when driving or something like that, you have that moment of relief. So that is a sense, oh my gosh, feeling protected. So a moment of relief, or when things are happening that you see, oh, that could have really been more challenging than we needed it to be. So those are I think I have 10 here. Something someone said or did, something you learned, something you did, something beautiful, something in nature, an experience of enjoyment, a moment of peace or humor, synchronicity, surprise or the unexpected, and relief or protection. And also another thing to practice, and this is also mental training, aside from the moments, is when there is a challenge, if there is something you can find to be grateful for within it. So that's certainly relevant right now, as many people are challenged by not being able to visit family and friends over the holiday like they usually do during the Thanksgiving time. So looking at a challenge and looking at it from the perspective of what hidden gratitude what hidden blessing or something I can be grateful for in this challenge. And again, this is how we train our mind. And in training our mind, we're able to be more productive because we have that capacity to direct our attention, which is so critical to productivity. So that's what I want to talk to you today about is gratitude. And I'd love to hear if you have different things, either things you're grateful for that you want to share in the comments below, or different ways that you have a gratitude practice. I would love to hear that. And also, before I go, I want to tell you about something I'm grateful for. Soon we're going to be doing the Power Start program again. So it's amazing. A year goes by so quickly. So it's going to be Power Start 2021. Enrollment for that will open on Black Friday, and Friday through the following Tuesday, There will be some little special benefits to enrolling at that time. I'm pretty sure it's going to be 2 additional coaching sessions. So what is Power Start? Power Start is a program to help you make progress on your goals for the year in the first 3 months. And I will say, especially this past year, it was amazing, the participants, what they were into and how it helped them during a year where things went a little wild after that 3-month period, right? So a lot of them did adjust their goals, but they were really well positioned to be able to make adjustments and sort of stay in the game, you know, throughout a very challenging year. So yeah, that's what we do is I go over lots of different ways of looking at goal achievement, and people pursue their goals during that first 3 months. And there'll be individual coaching as an option if people want that. 3 individual coaching sessions. There's some group coaching. Again, that's optional. People did some fun things. People learned languages, got new jobs, changed their business model. Lots of different things happened this past year in 2020, and I'm looking forward to what 2021 brings. So look out. I will put it in the comments below once enrollment happens on Friday. Enrollment opens on Friday. And if that sounds interesting to you, if you have any questions, let me know. I would love to welcome you into that program. So I hope that if you're in the U.S. and are celebrating Thanksgiving, that you have a beautiful Thanksgiving holiday. I'm going to be celebrating with Daisy the dog here, and it'll be beautiful, and I'm sure I'll be in touch with family and friends, and I hope you'll be doing the same wherever you are, that you have a beautiful holiday, and that you maybe take this time to look at the things you're grateful for over this past year, and then think about having a gratitude practice that really supports and fuels your own productivity, your own capacity to have an impact on the things that you care about. So have a wonderful week, and I'll see you next week.